Good morning. Here we are, Sunday, June the 13th, 2020. I've been having I've been having trouble keeping track of the days because we've recorded so much of this ahead of time. Uh, Everything was recorded last week or the week before last. So it's like I look at the video and I'm like, oh, that's old news, something we did a while ago. But I hope it's relevant. June is a very busy month when it comes to different special Sundays. You might not think so, but it is. The first Sunday of June is we celebrated the 96th anniversary of the United Church of Canada. One that was problematic to celebrate with reckless abandon because it was um, during the same week that that terrible discovery was made in BC of bodies of children at residential school. So how do you? We were part of that. We were part of the government's investment in that system. So celebrate, yes. Lament, yes. Hold both thoughts in our head at the same time, yes. Can we do so with authenticity? Yes, as long as we're doing both. And last week, or the week that week, I decided that from now on, we need to do a land acknowledgement when we begin our services. You might have noticed that. And I did a lot of reading about that and talking to folks. And there's different schools of thought. There was one school of thought that if you do a land acknowledgement, I don't know, is my audio on? Yeah, I think it is. When you do a land acknowledgement, some folks will say, okay, is there anybody in the room or in the gathering who is Indigenous? And if so, the idea is to defer to them. So they would do the land acknowledgement, welcome to the land. And then within our Indigenous sisters, brothers, and others, there is also a school of thought that no, don't, no. You folks, the settlers, the colonists, and that's who we are. You should do the land acknowledgement. We don't like the idea of you asking us to welcome you. And I get that. So I'm going to err on that side, knowing that our Indigenous sisters, brothers, and others are certainly not monolithic in their view. That's what we do. We say, oh, well, the Indigenous community thinks that, or this community thinks. Well, no, there is no one thing that any group of people. You know that. My goodness, people might say, oh, the United Church of Canada believes that. Well, I know that the United Church of Canada's got lots of different beliefs, lots of different viewpoints. Every group of people who we label as a group of people has lots of different beliefs. There are no monolithic groups out there. It just simply doesn't exist. So you do the best you can through prayer, through listening, and you also have to own and understand the fact that sometimes you are going to make mistakes and not everybody is going to feel comfortable with what you're doing. That's life. But life and love is trying. And I think that's what we're all called to do. Certainly as a person of privilege, that's what I'm called to do. So that's the first Sunday. June is also Pride Month. And so I wanted to mark Pride Month, and I did so in a very imperfect way. I used imagery. You'll notice lots of rainbows in today's service. I preached on it, but it was me preaching on it. It was a cisgendered person of privilege who's straight, preaching on pride, preaching on trans issues. That's definitely imperfect. That is definitely not the goal. If next year, and if and when we're all back together, we have more time. I have more time and more gray matter to devote to these issues, and I would plan it out. I think better all of these Sundays, and go out of my way to invite voices to join us to be authentic. Folks who are speaking from their own experience rather than some guy like me. Hoping to say something that resonates with somebody else's experience. So that's the fact of life, because it's just not enough time to think things through when you are spending so many steps and time making these videos. So that's so in a way you can include more people on video, but because of the time constraints, you don't have time to do it. So there's that. So that was this Sunday. Next Sunday is Indigenous Sunday. It is also Father's Day. Find a way to to mark both of those. Again, that's definitely a whole two thoughts in one head. We celebrate Mother's Day and Father's Day at Rothwell United Church, and we do so because well, it's tradition, but I think we do it in a way that's informative and transformative. You know, we acknowledge the fact that nuclear families, that everything is like, you know, Leave It to Beaver, just simply don't exist in real life, at least not for most of us. And to pretend that everyone has the same experience of fatherhood, either being fathers themselves or of their own fathers, or even anybody has fathers. I mean, it's absurd, and it's not inclusive, and it's just not gospel to exclude people from that. But at the same time, there's lots to celebrate when it comes to you know, those role models in our lives that are paternal. You know, those folks. So we find a way to celebrate that and be sensitive about it. And again, it's oh, good morning, Frank. It's also Indigenous Sunday. And I've got all the lay reading parts, and I've got all the music done for that service, like I do for the rest of the month. So it's like we'll figure out how to fill in the outsides of that. So there's that, and then the last Sunday of the month is well, we usually we celebrate and mark Canada Day one way or another, and we'll do that. We'll do that to a certain extent. But I'm gonna feel like, you know, I don't think it has to be the whole theme of the service. I don't think it ever really has been. I mean, there's lots of times we've dressed like that. We've dressed in red and white. I probably even worn this shirt before the church. I've had this shirt for, I think I've had this shirt for 21 years. This is the oldest piece of clothing that I have that has been in near continuous service. There was a time where I couldn't wear it because it was too small, and not anymore. But and I call it my lucky shirt. And they know it's not because it brings me luck. It's my lucky shirt because the shirt itself is lucky. The shirt's lucky because it's managed to move from oh my gosh, got it in Quebec, and it went to southwestern Ontario, and then back to Winchester here. So this shirt's my lucky shirt. The shirt itself is lucky. It has managed to stay intact and not lost. So this is a lucky shirt. I don't even have it. I got on that one. Well, I can today. So that's the worship. And in the meantime, out of all of this, we're coping with some losses. And how do you, you know, so Paul's leaving us. I hope he don't leave us. Gosh, I hope to see him in worship. So there's, you know, how do we do that in the midst of a pandemic? We got an idea. So we're going to work on that with council next week. And then we have Judy Evgen, who's leaving us, moving to BC. And we'll talk a little bit about that with Wednesday with Trina, because we actually did everything on Wednesday. And so there's that. So it's just, you know, head and heart's full of lots of things. It's exhausting, really. And I'm looking forward to a break. We did the count. This is our 65th service like this. That's 65 of these. 65 of me rambling in front of the camera on Sunday morning, more out of habit than anything else. 65 Sundays, and that's not counting, you know, 2 extra services for Christmas Eve, Blue Christmas, Good Fridays. So, you know, 70 of these things we've done. 70 one-hour TV shows we have put together. And I am looking forward to not having to do it for a few weeks. But before that happens, I'm going to have some fun because our good friend of the congregation, Val Wood, is back to do some music with us this year. She is doing, it's funny, it's so tempting to say she's doing three services. She's actually doing 3 Sundays worth of music, and we are going to record those in 2 different sessions. So we've got Val Wood is going to come and play for us, and Val, oh my gosh, she brings a lot of character to it. She's got she's great. So Val's going to play for us. And then the last Sunday of August, it's going to be Stephanie Kavardiascu, friend of the congregation, friend of mine. She was in my band forever, or I was in her band. we were in the band together, and she is going to do some music with us too. And depending on double doses, depending on where we're going at public health wise, we might bring in some friends to join us and make a joyful noise. I'm so looking forward to that. I've been dying to jam with my friends since this whole thing started. So anyway, that's exciting. What else has happened? Oh, guess what? I had to buy a car. I hate buying cars. Cars are a means to an end for me. They are not something that I enjoy. Maybe like other guys do. But anyway, this is what we got. How do I make it big? Can I make it big? Can I make it into a full screen? Do I maybe if I hit F11? Nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it at all. How do I make a big screen? Go to slideshow. Oh, there we go. Well, that's as big as it's going to get. Anyway, we got this little car. I think stewardship is. I think buying like a really expensive car is impossible on our budget. Got 3 teenagers and one heading off to college next year. So, but anyway, I wanted something that's like super fuel efficient, and I wanted something that had a little bit of character to it. And I think this little guy's got a little bit of character to it, a little quirky. I'm gonna get my Starship Enterprise mounted on the hood, but I think it's got some dignity to it, but it's got a little character. So anyway, I'm going to enjoy that. So that's it. 10:31. I got